Davies 200 was run here last Saturday, and the Transouth 500 on Sunday. A lot of excitement always at Darlington. We'll have that and more on this edition of Inside Winston Cup Racing.
For the second race in a row, a Rick Hendrick car visits Victory Lane. This time it's Ricky Rudd in the Tide Ride. Coming up, we're going to bring you all the action from the Transouth 500 and the track they call Too Tough to Tame.
Darlington wasn't too tough to tame for Jimmy Hensley. He won his second straight Busch Grand National pole and started up front in the Pontiac Pacesetters 200. I'll have all the highlights of that event.
We'll also have part one of a two-part feature on car owner and driver Darrell Waltrip.
There's a real stigma in this business, and I really hope that I can help put that to rest, is you can't be an owner and a driver.
Today's show is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. And by Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles.
One car manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone. Winning over 350 NASCAR races, over 4 decades of racing. That car manufacturer is Ford. And that kind of winning performance goes beyond the winner's circle.
George 117 in pursuit of request additional backup. Do you copy? 117. Same 216, we copy. Approaching 69 on our block. Let's get a roadblock.
More police cars throughout America come on Goodyear Eagle radials than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way.
Attention all units.
Goodyear Eagles. The authorities know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
When this guy steps on it, you better hold on.
Looks like Rusty's back in town.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car. It's tearing up tracks everywhere.
This is how hot it can get inside your car's engine. At 570 degrees, conventional motor oil breaks down, but Mobil 1 still flows. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection? Now, get this free racing video when you buy 6 quarts of Mobil 1 or get a Mobil 1 oil change. You can also win a Pontiac Grand Prix. Mobil 1's free racing video. You just can't lose.
Last week that Ryan Pemberton had been released from the Jack Rouse Folgers coffee racing team after an incident at the Atlanta International Raceway. Didn't take Ryan long to land somewhere else. He is now with the Robert Yates Davey Allison team, the car number 28, and there have been some other changes as well. You would think that we were in silly season and we're only 5 races into the 1991 racing season. Well, for some of the other changes and the highlights of the Transouth 500, here's Randy Pemberton.
Well, Ned, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Larry McReynolds had left the Quaker State team. He'd also joined up with the Robert Yates team to take over as crew chief on that car. Well, Wayne Bumgardner replaced him on the Quaker State car. Now, McReynolds replaced Jake Elder. Jake Elder has moved to the Western Auto car with driver Darrell Waltrip, as well as crew chief Jeff Hammond and chassis specialist Doug Richard. He'll be helping out on the chassis on that car. Other team members that have moved around include Donnie DeCharon. He has left the Tide team and joined up with Sterling Marlin and Mike Beam on the Junior Johnson Maxwell House Ford. To bring you up to speed on the sponsorship situation of some car owners, Team 3 still searching for a sponsor for their driver Mickey Gibbs, as well as Alan Kowicki, although he did sign a 3-race deal with Hooters Restaurants. Now I'm on the final row of the starting grid here. Infrequent competitor H.B. Bailey, nothing on the side of his race car, as well as longtime competitor J.D. McDuffie. Although J.D. did do something different here at Darlington, he sought out his friends to give him a little help, and they put their names on the side of this race car for about $200 apiece to help him with expenses for this event. Now, the Richmond International Raceway has shed some light on their situation, literally. The September Busch Grand National and Winston Cup races will be run under the lights for the very first time there. You'll want to see that action. Get your tickets.
Today's Winston Cup highlights are brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Race number 5 rolled off the line under clear and sunny skies, but with no clear-cut favorite. The Fords of Jeff Bodine and Sterling Marlin led the 40-car field on the green. Marlin made his move by Bodine, and he and the rest formed up in a follow-the-leader fashion. The first car forced from finishing fell out on lap 10, as Lake Speed's first ride with Cale Yarborough was soured with engine problems. The first to earn a Darlington stripe was Jimmy Spencer in turn 4. It wouldn't be his last. Sterling Marlin continued to pace the single-file field until the first caution was brought out by Bill Meacham, who knocked the Hooters Ford of Alan Kowicki into the inside front stretch wall. The race restarted with Meacham on the lonely inside lane, and Jeff Bodine, Dale Earnhardt, and Ernie Irvin looking to chase down Marlin and Michael Waltrip for the lead. Meacham would feel a lot lonelier after causing this crash a few laps later, which took out the top-running cars of Harry Gant and Dale Jarrett. Gant would continue, but Dale was done for the day. The race went green for the next hour and a half, with Michael Waltrip and his Pennzoil Pontiac pacing the pack, relinquishing the lead only during green flag pit stops. Several had strong runs only to have the tight Darlington track take its toll. Ken Schrader ran out of racing room with Earnhardt and Wallace, and that forced him to the pits and out of contention. Then Hut Strickland hit the wall after running near the front, and that forced him behind the wall for an extended stay. The save of the day belonged to Rick Mast, who nearly lost it in front of leader Michael Waltrip. But for most, if they weren't at least a lap down, they were in the garage area. The final of 3 cautions was brought out by Alan Kowicki, as his Ford was finally laid to rest after a dismal day. After leading 299 laps, and with only Ricky Rudd and Davey Allison left on the lead lap, a premium was placed on the Pennzoil team's final pit stop. Unbelievably, it fell apart. A faulty air gun forced Michael into a 37-second stop, and that would deny him his first ever career checkered flag. Rudd raced into the lead when Davey dove onto pit road for his final fuel stop. Ricky raced out front for the next 25 laps, taking his first ever oval track win in a Rick Hendrick car.
We had a fast car. We got off in the beginning of the race. Car got loose. They made some handling adjustments to the chassis, and from the midway point on, we were as good as Michael, but we were on the other side of the racetrack. Finally, we got a chance to get with him and race him a little bit, to get on even tires with him, and I think that call on our guys, after that restart, shortly after that, we decided to short pit the car, put on some new tires, and try to open up some lead on him, and we were able to do that. We knew Davey had to stop again, so it just worked perfect.
We need to take a short break. Still to come are highlights of the Pontiac Excitement 200 Busch Grand National race from here at Darlington, and we'll also have part 1 of a feature we're doing on 3-time Winston Cup champion Darrell Waltrip. And as we leave you for this break, here's the balance of the finishing order for the Transouth 500.
Let's take off our sneakers and get comfortable.
Uh-oh, sneaker odor.
Let's go to the movies.
Tame ferocious sneaker odor with Sneaker Tamers from Odor Eaters. Springy insoles with activated charcoal, the world's most powerful odor destroyer. Sneaker Tamers has it, Scholl's doesn't. Sneaker Tamers absorb sweat, destroy sneaker odor, guaranteed for the life of your sneakers.
No more sneaker odor.
Sneaker Tamers from Odor Eaters.
You're pushing 2 tons of steel at 200 plus with just a coat of paint between you and the leader. What's going through your mind?
The answer's inside.
What does it take to win the Daytona?
See for yourself.
What's the next technology breakthrough? The greatest moments in NASCAR history.
Stock car fans can now go inside the sport like never before with NASCAR Video Magazine from Time Life Video. You'll never look at stock car racing the same way again because each video helps you gain greater insight into everything from racing strategies to the latest hardware. Our cameras take you onto the track, into the cars, and into the minds of the legends.
Starting with the Daytona experience, yours for just $9.99. It's a behind-the-scenes look at the Super Bowl of racing with Darrell Waltrip, Richard Petty, and Jeff Bodine, plus how dyno technology is pushing engine performance and a lot more.
You'll have a greater appreciation of how one driver strapped inside a rocket on wheels relies on his strategy and nerves of steel to take the checkered flag. Here's how to get started.
Catch a draft to your phone and call to get the Daytona experience for $9.99 plus shipping and handling. Use your credit card and get this racing stopwatch free, accurate to 1/100th of a second with lap time and time of day too. Other videos like top 10 drivers, fathers, sons, and brothers, and evolution of the race car will arrive about every other month at $16.99. There's no commitment, cancel at any time. The NASCAR Video Magazine from Time Life Video.
Folks, your taxes are done, except I need you to answer the first question.
Which question?
Here. You need to decide if you would like $1 of your tax to be used to publicly finance our presidential campaigns. The tax checkoff reduces presidential candidates' reliance on large contributions from individuals and groups.
Will we pay more?
No, it doesn't change your tax or reduce your refund. It allows you to decide if you'd like $1 of your tax to be spent on presidential campaigns.
Check the box yes or no. It's in your hands.
In past years, some people have said it was not smart for the driver to own the race cars he drives, but that may be changing a little bit. Alan Kowicki owns the cars he drives, and he's been successful. Rusty Wallace has an ownership role in his team this year, and now Darrell Waltrip owns his team outright. Bill Weber, Darrell Waltrip has his own thoughts about owning a race team.
Ned, Darrell already has some success in the role as owner-driver. 2 wins in your early days.
Well, my first win was in my own car at Nashville, Tennessee. Jake was my crew chief, and we won that race. And later on that year, we won Richmond, Virginia. I had signed up with Dygaard to drive for them in 1976, but we finished the year out with their help. So I got a couple of wins and a lot of Busch wins.
And he's looking for career victory number 80 on the Winston Cup circuit.
And to tell you the truth, I always longed, and Junior Johnson told me not too terribly long ago, he said, you're never going to be happy, boy, until you get your own team. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I'm happier right now. I'm more satisfied. I'm having more fun than I've ever had before.
And that's why Darrell Waltrip plans to finish his driving career the same way he started it, calling his own shots. Waltrip's big dollar deal with Western Auto is a 4-year package designed to drive Darrell to a 4th Winston Cup championship and beyond.
We have the money to do what we're doing. We're not starting this program hoping we're going to get a sponsor. We're not starting this program hoping we're going to find a great driver. We're not starting this program on the shoestring. If Roger Penske's got something, I want something just like it. If Rick Hendrick's got 7 cars, Darrell Waltrip's going to have 7 cars. That's not for my benefit. Western Auto deserves that. They're the sponsors. They paid me a lot of money to do what I'm doing, and I want to be sure that when they walk into this sport that they're at the same level as the rest of these first-class teams are.
Now, Darrell admits his separation from the Hendrick stable was not smooth. His departure sent rumors swirling about dollars, deception, and disagreements.
A lot of people have got the impression that Rick and I had some sort of a misunderstanding or that we had a falling out over what took place when I took the team. They had cars and equipment that I didn't necessarily want. It came down to a situation with them where you take it all or you don't take anything, and so I elected to build new cars and buy new equipment, and that was my choice, and it wasn't something that was forced upon me. But through all that, I never realized if I've had an oversight in any area, it's been in the amount of time that it would take us to get back to where we were when I said I don't want that inventory.
So Darrell's decision to start from scratch delayed his preparation for the start of the season. But now he finally feels ready to once again run with the leaders.
We were barely ready for Daytona, and we went to Daytona and we were in good shape, don't get me wrong, but we had a lot of work to do even after Daytona was over with. We just now are catching up with everybody else.
When you reflect on 1990, there's no doubt about the most painful part of Waltrip's winless season. That summer day in Daytona and a racing incident that shattered his leg, but not his spirit.
He told me it'd take a year. I didn't believe that. I thought 6 months, 6 weeks maybe, I'd be up and running. But it's going to take a year for the bone to heal, and then once it heals, I can go start jogging again or playing basketball or whatever. But I feel really good. Physically and mentally, I'm strong. I got muscle. I never had a muscle before. I got a muscle. When somebody asks me what time it is now, I say, oh, it's, yeah, you know, guys like Mark Martin and these guys lift weights. I got to stay up with them guys, you know.
Waltrip's zeal is an indelible trademark, notably different from his days as NASCAR's bad boy. He has funneled his talent and desire into 79 wins, 5th on the all-time victory list, and nearly $11 million in career earnings. Today, Darrell Waltrip is still eager and able to win. A hard charger who now competes with the enthusiasm of youth and the wisdom of age.
I always had a tendency, and it's why I was unpopular, to blame someone else for the problems that I may have had. The engine blew up and it was so-and-so's fault. The car didn't win because they screwed up in the pits. Somebody ran into me on the racetrack. And I always had a tendency to not look in a mirror. You got to forgive and forget. And I think that's been the biggest thing that's helped me in the sport, not only as a driver, but as someone the fans want to look up to, is that I took the emphasis off of me and put it back, you know, just tried to spread it out and look at everything more objectively.
Darrell Waltrip won his first Winston Cup race 16 years ago in his 50th start. Now, heading into Darlington, Darrell had gone 31 races without a win, not including those 6 events he missed last summer. It's the longest winless stretch in his career since that first victory in Nashville in 1975. So the question is, when will Darrell Waltrip visit Victory Lane again?
The short tracks are coming up. I didn't get to run Bristol last year because I was hurt. You got Wilkesboro and Martinsville shortly thereafter. This is a track, I've won this race I think 4 or 5 times. These are all tracks that I expect to do well on. And I expect to win when I come here, or at least I know that I can win when I come here. We've got everything going for us. We just need a little bit of good luck.
We'll have part 2 of the story on Darrell Waltrip next week, so you be sure to join us. Danny Crump is a past crew member for Travis Carter Racing. He's not able to work now because he's having to take care of 2 young sons of his who has a very rare disease, adrenoleukodystrophy. A lot of people in racing have gotten together to help raise funds for treating those 2 young men. We hope that you might want to contribute something as well, and here's the address how you can send to that fund. It's the Leon Crump Fund, First Union Bank, Post Office Box 1776, Morganton, North Carolina, 28655.
Fact. The full-size Ford has been the best-selling pickup in America for the past 14 years. Fact. Ford has the best full-size pickup value in America today. With AM/FM stereo, special wheels, and low-mount mirrors. This Ford is hundreds less than a comparably equipped Chevy or Dodge. Call it leadership. Call it winning. With values like this, it's no wonder more people are driving the best-built, best-selling American trucks than ever before.
Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? So where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? Just about anywhere you want. Put on a set of Goodyear Wrangler radials, and you'll know why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
I like to dream. Yes, yes, right between the sound machine. On the cloud of sound, I drift in the night. Any place it goes is right. Goes far, flies near.
Coldly filtered, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
In my considered opinion, it's okay to enjoy mowing one's lawn. Oh, for heaven's sake. In fact, my snapper significantly enhances my sense of well-being. Of course, my snapper dealer was kind enough to offer a 14-day money-back test drive. The good man really stands behind his machines. So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional help. That's right. See your snapper dealer. Anything less just won't cut it.
You'll find the heart of country, today's hottest stars and shows on TNN. And if you like the fun of seeing your favorite TNN shows in production, you're invited to be a part of our studio audiences. For information on taping schedules, guest lineups, and how to get free tickets, call the Nashville Network at 615-883-7000. Special arrangements for students and senior citizens groups are available.
Next week, the wrenches will turn in Tennessee at the Bristol International Raceway. We'll be there to cover all the action and bring you the highlights of the Valleydale Meets 500.
The Busch Grand National drivers also take on the Bristol High Banks. You'll see the action in the Budweiser 250.
And we'll conclude our two-part conversation with Darrell Waltrip. This three-time national champion is looking for his first title as an owner. That story and more next week on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
The Saturday races have become good ones for Dale Jarrett and the Nestle's Crunch Pontiac team. He has won 2 races in a row here, including the Pontiac Excitement 200 here last Saturday. And Bill Weber, they got that race named right, Excitement, because there was plenty of it in this race, and particularly because of one man.
Ned, it was a 40-car field, and starting 40th was Dale Earnhardt. He never completed a lap during qualifying, so he starts at the back of the pack. On the pole for the second straight week, Jimmy Hensley leading the way for the Pontiac Pacesetters 200. Two stories unfolded early: the muscle of Michael Waltrip's Pennzoil Pontiac and the dramatic dash of Earnhardt. Waltrip started second and led the first 52 laps, while Earnhardt was knifing through the field. Harry Gant lasted just 18 laps, and the biggest incident of the day came on lap 25. Ward Burton spun in turn 2, and when the smoke had settled, 8 cars were involved. Earnhardt kept charging, 10th on lap 40, 7th on lap 50. Meanwhile, Michael's strong day soured when he dropped a cylinder a third of the way through the race. Dale Jarrett inherited the lead on lap 53 and began his battle with Bobby Labonte in a replay of Rockingham. Following green flag pit stops, Labonte emerged as the leader, with Jarrett chasing and Earnhardt charging. Bobby and his Penrose ride led for 44 laps. On lap 129, Darrell Waltrip spun in turn 4, collecting Ed Ferree, bringing out caution number 5. On the restart, David Green and Cecil Eunice spun on the front stretch. Jarrett and Labonte raced to the caution, with Jarrett crossing the line first. The green flag returned on lap 137, setting up an 11-lap chase to the checkers. Jarrett leading, Labonte second. But the race ended 4 laps early. Clifford Allison and Ed Barrier crashed in turns 1 and 2. Jarrett won the race to the yellow, then cruised to the checkers, his second win of the season.
Bobby's car, that wasn't his strongest point on restarts, and I knew if I could just get beside him that I could beat him for a few laps. And then on the last restart, I was just wanting to get a good jump, knowing that he was going to be coming with over 10 laps to go. He could get back to me, but whether he could have passed me or not, you don't know. That's doesn't matter now. We're here in victory lane, but my hat's off to him. He did a good job. That's a very talented race driver there, and he'll win a lot of races.
Today's mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
Fans, our question today is one of hundreds that we receive each week. Now, we know that some of you perhaps have written more than once, but please be patient. We'll get around to as many as we possibly can. Our question today comes from Ronald Moore of Mayville, Wisconsin, who writes, I would like to know if the rims on the Winston Cup cars are made of magnesium, steel, or aluminum, and how much does one tire weigh when mounted? Well, Ronald, for that answer, we'll get Ed Kaluka of the National Sales Manager for Bassett Wheels to answer it.
Ronald, thanks for writing in. That's a good question about the wheels. The wheels in Winston Cup Racing are made out of steel. The sanctioning body is the one who determines what the materials are used in the manufacture of wheels. Unlike Indy cars where they're allowed to use cast materials and the wheels can run as high as $5,500 a piece, as in Winston Cup, they're only $150 a piece, so it's a lot less expensive for the teams. Also, the steel wheel, when it has contact, and this Winston Cup Racing is a contact sport, when they have contact, they won't break or bend like an aluminum or a die-cast steel, a wheel will. And as far as the weight of the wheel, tire, inner liner, and tube as an assembly, usually runs right around 60 to 70 pounds. Thanks for writing in.
If your question is used on the air, you'll receive a free IWCR cap and t-shirt from the new Pit Shop brochure, featuring top-quality racing clothing, jewelry, and home video cassettes. If you'd like to receive a copy of the Pit Shop brochure, join the IWCR Sports Club. Or to place an order, call 1-800-692-7777. Remember, Sports Club members receive a full 10% discount on all Pit Shop purchases.
Our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and you be sure to be with us here next week when we'll come to you from another tough racetrack, the Bristol International Raceway. Thanks for watching us here on TNN.
Today's show has been brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Winning the world over with 1991 trucks that are built Ford tough. By Miller Genuine Draft, coal filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. And by Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. Inside Winston Cup clothing provided in part by Sports Image Incorporated, suppliers of quality racing apparel. Communications for Inside Winston Cup Racing crew provided by Racing Radios, Forest Park, Georgia, the official communications of NASCAR. Transportation for Inside Winston Cup Racing provided by Fleetwood Enterprises, makers of a full line of excellent recreational vehicles. And by your Carolina Ford dealers. Nobody outsells Ford in the Carolinas. To purchase an official Inside Winston Cup Racing cap or t-shirt, or to join the Inside Winston Cup Racing Sports Club, send check or money order plus $4 shipping and handling to Post Office Box 240-417, Charlotte 28224. And for Visa MasterCard orders, call 1-800-692-7777.
This week, Nashville Now stars Ronnie Milsap, Tammy Wynette, Brenda Lee, Williams and Reed, Jack Hanna, Pam Tillis, Johnny Rodriguez, Pirates of the Mississippi, the Wild Jimbos, and Tom T. Hall live this week on Nashville Now.
You know, I can't believe how my Plano box keeps on fishing after all those knocks and drops I've given it. Tough on the outside, smart on the inside. Look at all that room. That's smart. Look at this solid brass hardware and quality construction. It keeps on working when I need it. Plano always has a box just right for the way I want to fish. I've learned this is all you ever need to know about tackle boxes. Don't trust your tackle inside anything less.
Saturday, Ricky Skaggs and ace guitarist Albert Lee are in top form on the American Music Show.
No more, only you when you're loving only me.
Then, on the Texas Connection, it's a brand new season starring Roseanne Cash. The American Music Shop and the Texas Connection. Saturday starting at 10 Eastern on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Bassmasters, 10 p.m. Eastern, Sports Sundays on TNN.